Okay, we're going to look at how to factor when you're giving 4 terms. There's 2 different ways that you can do this. You can either factor by grouping or you can factor using the area model, and I will show you both ways. Alright, the first way I'm going to show you is factoring by grouping. Okay, so for number 1 here, and this is also the same problem on your practice worksheet that I provided for you inside the course. It is 20k to the third plus 25k squared minus 4k minus 5. The first thing that you always want to do when you're asked to factor completely is to look and see if there is anything that you can factor out first, greatest common factor. So I have a 20 here, 25 here, 4, negative 4 here, negative 5 here. Can't factor anything out. And this term, the last term, is just a constant. There's no k, so I can't factor anything out. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to group the first 2 terms. So I have 20k to the third plus 25k squared plus, and I'm going to group the second 2 terms. Notice that I put the negative sign inside. Okay, that's important. Whenever you have a negative sign, go ahead and put it inside the second term. Now I'm going to factor this first expression, 20k to the third plus 25k squared. I can factor out a 5. And I have k to the third and k to the second. I can factor out the k to the second. That is going to leave me with 4k, because 5k squared times 4k would give me 20k to the third plus 5, just 5. Okay, so I have 5k squared times 4k plus 5, and in the second one what I can factor out is a negative 1. So that's going to be minus, and I don't have to put the 1 there. That negative sign means that the coefficient here is negative 1. And what would I have to multiply negative 1 by to make it equal negative 4k? It would be 4k. What would I have to multiply negative by to make it equal negative 5? It would be plus 5. Okay? If you've done this correctly, these 2 terms should be exactly the same. 4k plus 5, 4k plus 5. So in order to factor, I'm going to take the common factor here, 4k plus 5. That's one of my factors. And the second one is going to be what is left over. Okay, remember this is a negative 1 here. So what's left over is 5k squared minus 1. This is factored completely because if you look at the 2 terms, 4k, 5, the greatest common factor is 1. 5k squared minus 1, the greatest common factor is 1. So my final answer is 4k plus 5 times 5k squared minus 1. If you wanted to check that, FOIL this and you should get the original expression. So I'm going to FOIL it. 4k times 5k squared, that's 20k to the third. Outside terms, 4k times negative 1 minus 4k. Inside terms, 5 times 5k squared plus 25k squared. And the last terms, negative 5 times negative 1 is negative 5. And then I just want to rewrite this in descending order, which means I'm going to write it from the highest exponent of my variable down to the constant. So it will be 20k to the third plus 25k squared minus 4k minus 5. And that's exactly what we started with. Okay, so that's one way that you can factor when you're given 4 terms. This is called factoring by grouping.